Imagine two travelers starting a journey from the same place but walking in completely opposite directions. One heads toward the rugged, rainy fields of grain, the other toward the sun-drenched vineyards of fruit. They look almost identical in the glass, both amber, both aged in oak, and both revered for centuries as the ultimate luxury spirit. But their souls are completely different. We are talking about the two giants of the spirit world, whiskey and brandy. But here's the first surprise. Historically, they both claim the exact same name. The word whiskey comes from the Gaelic uisce batha, and brandy, in its French home, is called Eau de Vie. Both phrases translate to exactly the same thing, the water of life. So if they share a name, why do they taste so different? And how did a tiny insect in the 1800s nearly destroy one to let the other conquer the world? Today, we're pouring out the history of whiskey versus brandy, right here in Simple Things Surprising Histories. To understand the difference, we have to look at the parents of these spirits. Let's start with whiskey. At its simplest level, whiskey is what happens when you take beer and give it a superpower. It starts with grain, barley, corn, rye, or wheat. You crush it, mix it with water, and let it ferment. Before it goes into a still, that mash is essentially a crude beer. This gives whiskey its character, grainy, malty, and robust. It is the spirit of the field. Brandy, on the other hand, is the spirit of the orchard. It is created by distilling wine. The fruit, usually grapes, but sometimes apples or pears, is fermented into wine first. Because it comes from fruit, brandy carries a natural acidity and esters that turn into floral and fruity notes. Think of it this way: whiskey is distilled beer, brandy is distilled wine. That single choice, grain or grape, sets the stage for everything that follows. Now, let's step back into history. How did these drinks become global icons? Brandy actually got its start as a shipping hack. In the 16th century, Dutch traders wanted to ship French wine, but wine was heavy and spoiled easily on long voyages. So they decided to boil the water out of the wine to concentrate it, planning to add the water back when they arrived. They called it brandewine, or burnt wine. But a happy accident occurred. They realized that after storing this burnt wine in wooden barrels for the journey, it didn't just survive, it tasted better. It was smoother, richer, and more complex. Brandy was born. For centuries, brandy was the king of spirits, but in the 1860s, disaster struck. A microscopic aphid called phylloxera attacked the vineyards of France. In just a few years, the wine industry collapsed. Brandy production halted. The world was thirsty and looking for an alternative. Enter whiskey. The Scots and Irish were ready with their grain spirits. Because of the brandy shortage, the world developed a taste for whiskey, and it took the crown it still holds today. Once the spirit comes off the still, it's clear like water. It's the aging that gives both drinks their color and their soul, but they use the wood differently. Whiskey is often aged in barrels that have been charred, literally set on fire on the inside. This opens up the wood and releases flavors like vanilla, caramel, and toffee. It's why bourbon, for example, tastes so sweet and woody. Brandy is more delicate. It's often aged in French oak casks that are toasted, not charred, to avoid overpowering the fruit. And in both warehouses, there's a tax to be paid. As the spirit sits for years, a small percentage evaporates through the pores of the wood. In the industry, they call it the angel's share. It's a romantic idea that the angels are taking their cut of the water of life before we get to taste it. So, which one is for you? If you like bold flavors, smoke, spice, leather, and grain, you are a whiskey person. It's a drink that warms you up from the inside out. If you prefer something smoother, with notes of dried fruit, flowers, citrus, and a velvety texture, you are a brandy drinker. It's a drink that asks you to slow down. Grain or grape, beer or wine, whiskey or brandy, two different paths to the same destination, a perfect glass to end the day. Which side are you on? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this history, please like and subscribe to Simple Things for more surprising stories behind the everyday. Cheers!